Hey Kim, what's up? I can see Ahmed. Ahmed, wie geht's dir? How are you? Give me a couple of seconds before we start this thing. Lydia is here. Hi Lydia, schön dich zu sehen. Oleg from Russia is in here. Hello. Oleg, how are you? Hell, ready, let's go. That's good. That's really good to know that you're ready. I'll be ready in a couple of seconds as well. And then we're gonna start this thing. I can see Natalie. Good to see you, Natalie. We're gonna start this thing in a couple of seconds. Russia, Ahmed once again. Hello, Ahmed, Borka, or Borna Mikovic. Good to see you. Marius, mein Freund, is in here. Marius is watching. Die Drehbuchmaschine ist hier drin. Tattoos and Trips, Bill Price. Dylan is here. I can see Dylan. Borna Mikovic fragt, what flag is this? Who knows what kind of flag this is? Ahmed, I'm a Taekwondo. Some kind of Sophia ist hier reingekommen. Zainularian, who are you? Zainularian, hello? Zainularian says hello. Where are you from, Zainularian? So everybody who's in here and everybody who can understand me in English before we get this thing rolling, please put your national flags down here so we can know what country you're from, and what country you're tuning in from. We really want to know that before we get this thing rolling and before we're gonna put Mr. Ingmar Johansson in this thing. I can see he already made a request. Claudio from Chile is in here. Hola, Claudio. Eric, Eric is in here in Kenpo Studio, Copenhagen. Please put your flags down here so we can see what country you're from. We have Denmark already, Germany, Dylan from Germany. Who else? What countries do we have? I know that we have the United States. Bill, we have Russia. I can see already Ahmed, Borna Mikovic, and a couple of others who haven't posted their flags yet. And Sweden, Kenpo Stockholm is here. And without any further ado, let me see what we got. We have Kenpo Sweden. Gina is here. Gina, wie geht's dir? Gina, du hast angekündigt, dass du dabei bist. Schön, dass du es wahrgemacht hast. Und jetzt für den starten wir die Runde. Marius, Germany and France, Deutschland und Frankreich. Here he is, Mr. Ingmar Johansson. Welcome, sir.
Danke, danke.
So, can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, 10-4.
Loud, perfect, loud and clear. We can hear you too. So everybody who's in here, before we get this thing rolling, please put your thumbs up and let us know if you can hear both of us clearly, if you can hear what we say. So after you put your flags, most of you did that, please put up your thumbs so we know that you can hear what we say loudly and clearly. Natalie says, hello, sir.
Hello, Natalie. Nice to see so much people there.
That's true. That's true. Dylan can hear us. Kenpo Stockholm, Kenpo Copenhagen, Claudia from Chile, Gina. Some kind of Sophie. Okay, so it seems like everybody can hear us clearly.
Good.
And some people still come in. So once again, welcome and glad to have you on this format. Mr. Ingmar Johansson from Sweden, live, answering your question and discussing the martial arts and Kenpo specifically tonight. So first of all, how are you, sir? How are you doing? How is everything over there in Sweden?
Well, we're good in Sweden. the numbers have been gone up like the rest of Europe, but now they are stabilized. We were looking at it today, and we are hoping to be able to start the school now the 7th, but we will have what we call open training for adults, but children will train as normal. And then in February, we expect to be able to have smaller groups and then start working normally. According to the authorities, in June, everybody will be vaccinated in Sweden, and they will start with the big masses in March. So we are hopeful, and we pray that it's going to go well, not only for us, but everybody. So
great. That's good news. So we can stay optimistic, and yeah, it looks good as it sounds. It looks good.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
The prognostics look good. So for everybody who's in here for the first time, I don't know if you guys saw our first episode last week with Max Bishkov from United States. This format is all about discussing martial arts, Kenpo specifically. But you can ask all your questions and everything that you feel you're kind of interested in. And we will discuss that, or Mr. Johansson mainly will answer the questions you have. So anytime you feel like you want to know something, you can use that thing below and just drop your question, and we will talk about it and answer it. So I think let's get it started, because once again, like last week, I have a whole list of questions that was sent to me before this date. So the first one, really, I like that question, and it's kind of an introductory thing, because some people may not know who you are, and before you maybe introduce yourself, I would like to present you with the question, which is, Mr. Johansson, could you please tell me a little bit more about your time as a boxer, and what did you like about it, and why did you switch to another art or system? And maybe by answering that question, you could, tell the audience a little bit about your background and who you are and what you do.
Well, to start off with boxing, I was interested in boxing. I liked the sport. I liked the physical training, jumping ropes, and it was physical, and you had to be in good shape. A good boxer had to always be in good shape. And I did a lot of tournaments, stuff like that in boxing, and they actually went pretty well. But with the time, you start developing. I was becoming very stiff in my shoulders, and I wanted something more philosophical, something more, complete as a martial art or sports. And so I ran into Kenpo, and I wanted to kick it. I wanted to punch. That's what I wanted to do. And I did a lot of boxing, traveled around. I was for a while training with the Swedish national youth team in boxing. And as I said, I was very pleased with how things went. I won some fights, I lost some fights. Hey, that's life. But I was happy with that, but I wasn't happy with that it was not complete, in the sense that I wanted to use legs and arms. And that's why I ran into Kenpo, and then I started to train, and we basically did sparring every day. That was the main thing, conditioning. And so I liked it. And after that, I started to travel to South America and learn Kenpo. And after that, specifically Chile. And then I went to the United States and ended up with Mr. Elliott from New Jersey, Channel Islands, who now lives in California. And then after that, moved Mr. Planets. But that's my passion, and I like it. I like the boxing. I like all that stuff, and it's a very good complement to the Kenpo. So, and today, what I do as work, I work full time. In the late 90s, I studied at the Swedish National Sports Institute to become a teacher, how to teach and how to use pedagogic tools, and how to become the best I can from a teaching viewpoint, and combine with the Kenpo. At the time, I already had a school, so the guys were training. I was coming back every weekend, and we were working out and so on. And so then I stopped doing the tournaments in the 2000, and after that, I only started to do teaching, and after that, it just grow and grow and grow. And the whole 2000s, basically, I've been training with Mr. Planas, first years with Mr. Lelich as well. But and now I work full time the last, well, almost 20 years at the studio. So, yeah,
Right.
I have students with 350 students, and we're happy. We're good. We're good.
Right. Beautiful. I can see that Dylan, he asked the question, how did you guys start? You should see the question down there, but basically, this question, Dylan, has already been answered now by Mr. Johansson. So you heard about what he did before. He started as a boxer and now teaches
85. I
full-time.
started in 1985, I started with Kenpo.
Right, right. And yeah, that's the background of Mr. Johansson. And about myself, you can just send me a direct message. We are already in contact, Dylan. Dylan is interested in training with me, with us. So everything about that, you can just send me a DM and I'll answer everything about myself. So a couple of new people joined, as I can see. We have Mario Schnee. I don't know who you are, Mario, but your name sounds either German or Italian. Everybody, please put your national flag down there once in a while so we can see what countries are represented in here. Oleg from Russia, he was asking, what about the Viking Camp 2021?
Well, we're going to do the Viking Camp this year, guarantee. We have the date 14, 16 May, but we have been doing the camp since 1999. So that's one of the oldest Kenpo camp out there. And so this year we will do it either that date, 14, 16, or we're going to change it to 11, 13 of June. And the reason for that is that we want to basically ensure that all the Swedes will have been vaccinated at that point, and doing so, we can, people that come to Sweden will know that everybody's vaccinated here, and that will increase the numbers of participants and the great camp that we have every year and great time. So I think, if you ask me now, I think we will change it to 11, 13, but tomorrow we have a boarding meeting about this, and I will put it up on the webpage and all the things on the internet. So, but I think June will be better for everybody, and also the people that will be coming, hopefully will be vaccinated as well, and we can rock and roll from there on.
Right, perfect. Kenpo Diego is joining us, and Titans or Titans Auto Protection. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you in here too. So for everybody who does not know what the Viking Camp is, and before we continue with the questions, maybe, sir, you could explain what the Viking Camp is in a few sentences so everybody from outside our community gets to know what it is.
Well, for me, first of all, education is everything. So I stress, especially in our lineage, in our group, Rower Lineage, education. We have to educate and learn more about what we do, and therefore we can talk about it, but it's important that we have a forum, a place where we actually meet and train and work out and get education. So we have two camps that done yearly. One is the Viking Camp, where it's basically seminars. The whole camp is seminars, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Sunday we are outdoor, and the other days we are indoor. And you can pick according to the topic that interests you. You will have 4 or 5 seminars that well, 4 seminars you can choose from, and you pick the one you like, and you learn about that subject. And that will be during the whole weekend. Some seminars are after rank, and some seminars are open. And so you pick the one you want to go for. And then later on, the Viking Camp ends on the Sunday afternoon with Viking games. So we're out in the park throwing axes, using tag of war, and so on, and having a great time, and having this bound thing, which is very important, that we have among our groups, that we learn from each other, and we have a good time together, and we make friends, and we do make friends from all over the world, and that's the beauty of it. And then we have the Instructor Camp, which is always the first weekend in October. That's when we get together the instructors from all the places, And normally we are between 20 to 30 instructors from all over the world in our lineage, specifically Europe, but everybody else is welcome as well. But you have to be part of our lineage. And then Mr. Planas, which is our head instructor, he goes through the material that I pick that we want to do. And what we have done during all the years is we've gone from yellow belt all the way up to black belt, and then we've gone through all the forms and sets. But this year we were supposed, well, this year I'm thinking of doing Form 4 in detail, and that's a whole weekend of studies only for the instructors. So with that, we're educating people, and I think that's the most important thing. Rank is not interesting, really. It is a receipt on what you have done and the time you have been working, and you should be able to perform for the level that you are showing. So, but knowledge is everything. So there you go.
All right, thank you. So for everybody who may be interested in make that experience, you can anytime send a direct message to Kenpo Sweden, as you can see up here, and Mr. Johansson will answer all your questions about that camp. I've been there many times, and it's a great experience, and you should definitely think about going there. It's not about the Kenpo system only, it's for all martial arts, and you can cross-train and learn many things and meet beautiful people. So everybody who may be interested, just send me or Kenpo Sweden a direct message, and we will answer all further questions. I can see that Chris Linder is in here, my brother. Good to see you, Chris Linder, 9911. And Luigi Nogezzo sounds Italian. Luigi, where are you from? Are you from Italy? If this is the case, just put up the Italian flag down here so we can see that this is the thing. Katom Pils, I know where you're from. Katom Pils, and Pa Vilvaya, who are you? Or who are you and where you're from, Pa? That's really interesting for us. Everlast, a couple more people come in. So thank you for the last answer, Mr. Johansson. The next question, next question is about like rank. You mentioned that in your last answer, and one guy, his name is Ricardo from Munich. He was answering or asking a question. Please explain the titles in the Kenpo system when you get to the black belt, and how important are the belt colors, and what rank do you consider the hardest? This is a question by Marius, one of my students.
Well, hardest, well, as instructor, every rank is important because you develop different things in different ranks, and also of the time you have been training, you have a certain skill. Like yellow and orange, you're working a lot of basics because that's the main thing. Then you move on to purple. Now you start to see things and start to put things together. So it becomes easier to see how the flow and the sequence, and then you just become better and better in what you do. And then later on, when you reach brown belt, third brown is a very important rank. Because that's what we look at and see how your development been and how solid your basics are and how good you move, and your understanding it obviously as well. You should now be able to talk about Kenpo, explain it in words, not only show it physically, and you should have a good understanding how everything is designed. Then you move all the way up to black belt, and brown belt is basically a transportation from third brown up to first brown, and then you reach black. Black is important a lot of times for the student, and of course, if you become a black belt, that's pretty important. But the rank that we are more interested in as seniors to look at is the third degree black belt, because that is a senior. It's a head instructor title and a full instructor. Full instructor means that you have gone through the program all the way up to third degree black, which would be the long 6, and that's where the program ends for us, so to speak. That's one thing. Then it's compared. The belt system is compared to like going study, and when you go to university, you have different levels of teachers. You will not find a professor level in the kindergarten, so therefore you go to university to find professors and masters. So the first 4 levels are instructor levels, and then you move into professor level. Now you should be able to profess, to talk about the art and educate people. And then from 8th degree black belt up to 10th degree, you are have a different master levels, and those are 3. So that makes the titles, and the title will tell you basically if he's an instructor, if he's a professor, or if he's a master. That's why in the world there is a confusion that, like in the South American people, there a lot of times they always talk about master. Everybody's a master, even a 2nd degree or 3rd degree is a master. But that's more culture because they use that language. But really, it is instructor levels, professor levels, and master levels. So that's kind of very important to lay out. So like myself, I'm a senior professor. That means the next time I test, I will move up to the master levels. And that is when it is, so to speak. Did I miss something?
No, not in my opinion. So anytime you guys want to know something else or want to ask another question, just drop it down here. Like, for example, Oleg did. Oleg from Russia. Ingmar, when will you be 10th degree? Oleg asks you.
Yes.
Yeah. Comunidad Sois. Comunidad Sois, where are you from? Which comunidad are you? Joao Max from Brazil. Blucky TV, where are you from? I know your name, but I don't know where you're from. Joaci Filho, could be Brazil too. Everlast E36, hello, welcome. And Kacht, Jimmy Kacht. If you train martial arts, put your thumbs up so we can see that you also train the arts and where you're from. Guys, if you have a question, just put it down there in that, where the question mark is, like Claudio did. And his question is, basics are everything. What does that mean for you, Sensei Ingmar?
Sensei, that's Japanese title. But okay, anyway, basic is everything. Everything we do is based on basic, because it's like the alphabet. You have letters, and these are the letters of your motion. And you put them together, and that makes them words and then sentence. So you need the basics. The biggest problem we have in Kenpo all over the world is that people train basics too little. And the comprehension and the understanding and the definitions of them also a lot of times are misunderstood. So this is a problem in general when it comes to Kenpo, that we need to work more basics. And most of the time, people don't want to do that. People want to fight, want to spar, they want to do techniques, they want to rock and roll, do forms, but they don't want to work basics. So in my school, we have implemented the last year's basics classes. And that means when you come in as a white belt, you train with me basics. And after you train basics, I'll teach you the yellow belt techniques and the form and blocking set, and then you test to move into yellow belt, and then you move to another group that are teaching yellow and orange belt material. But I work with everybody individually, basic class. And that class, well, we work basics. And moving up singular or plural, meaning we do combinations of basic, but you need to dominate these basic well, and you need to have a very, very good understanding of the foundation, about how to stand and the neutral bow, how you measure the neutral bow, how the weight distributions are, and the reason why you do everything. And that's very important. Why do you use the reverse bow? When do you use the reverse bow? When you use a forward bow? And why do you use a forward bow? See, that's kind of important to understand, and because that's what you're going to do later on. Use them all the time, and you need to know where and when and why. You don't want to do monkey say, monkey do. And that was one of the reasons why I started to train with Mr. Planas, was to give you a little history here. In the 90s, we went to the European Championships, and we went to, we could go for tournament, or we could go for seminars. I went for everything. But the seminars were sacred to me to always participate on, and always have questions about what we did. And the problem we had was that instructors were coming out mainly from the US, and today you do the technique like this. Next seminar, you do the same technique like that. So they started to change or show the personal flavor of things. And that was confusing because I had to go back home and tell my students, hey, we're doing it like this. Why? Well, Mr. X here said we should do that. Or this guy said we should do that. So mainly what you did was you did which one you thought was good enough. But there wasn't really a red thread about why we do everything. And I want to know what is the base. I understand that I can change techniques, modify them, play with them, but I have to have a structure to go from. I need to teach my student the base and then elaborate with everything else. And I felt that was missing, at least my experience. So going through the system with Mr. Planas, it is very black and white, and he explains everything, why and how. And then when you understand that, it's obvious. Then when you go out there and you start playing, it's no problem to play because you already have a foundation to go back to as a reference point. And I think that reference points have changed because different instructors teaches their personal style or flavor of martial art, which is nothing wrong, which is good. But hey, the ABCs are still the same. So we still have to learn the ABCs and do them proper and understand them well and train them and have solid basics. And I think that's where we start to go a little bit wrong, that, you know, people move away from basics. So basics is everything. And
right.
enough of it.
And this leads us perfectly into the next question by Dylan. And he's asking, what's the background of Kenpo?
The background of Kenpo? You mean what?
Yeah, I guess that Dylan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's probably asking, what is Kenpo? What is it all about? In a few sentences, please, because we have so many questions.
All right.
What is Kenpo? Because
the system tailored to a society whereas you have a lot of violence and you need to have an effective self-defense system. Kenpo is a great tool to work because you're using the legs are low and the hands high. It's a 50-50 hand-feet relationship, so to speak, and you move the hand high and the feet low. We are not a kicking system, mainly. We use our hands as the main weapon, so to speak. We do locks, we do takedowns, we do everything, but you can incorporate that with other systems as well that are like weapons. Kenpo is not a weapon system. I don't care what people say. We do not teach the weapons good enough for the environment of today. So you move in and you learn Filipino martial art and you bring it in. That's what I've done. And today I work a lot with Marty Saninovich, master from Los Angeles that trains at the academy with Darino Santo, and he's a 9th degree black belt in our system, in our group. So it's a great experience to train with him and learn more about the weapons. But we are mainly a street system, and what we got is more than enough, and it has all the tools you need. But you can explore and add, like grappling. You can grapple into the camp if you like. I don't do that, but a lot of people do that. So it's great. It's fun. There's nothing wrong. You add to your storehouse of knowledge. You know, put as much as you can in there. Learn from everybody. Give credit to the people you learn from. Very important as well. You know, I learn all the time, so I'm happy.
Right. Well, guys, if you're not happy with the answer, you can all the time you can ask the
hotline, as Kim would say.
Right. Anders Sterling is in here. Anders.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you, Anders.
Zula is in here. Like I said, I want it rainy out there, but you know what I'm talking about. Bilal Admin 1 is in here, and we have another question by Martin Schuster 71. Why are there the forms from 1 to 3 as short and long, and from 4 no more? Can you read the question yourself?
No, I don't have it here.
Okay, it says, why are there the forms from 1 to 3 as short and long, and from 4 no more?
Well, 4 no more. Well, there are 4, 5, and 6, which are the long forms. There we have 6 long forms and 3 short forms. And basically, short form 1 is the base, the foundation. Then we build on that to become long 1. Then we have short 2. Then you add to that long 2. But it is a pyramid, an inverted pyramid. It means that you're adding information constantly to what you're doing. And so you need to analyze the forms and look at what is new. And, so the question is, well, the thing is that you build up with more knowledge as you go along, but you also complete categories, meaning like I have stances. Well, I got one stance first, then I add another stance. Then I add the neutral bow, I went to the forward bow. From the forward, we add the cat. Then we go to the reverse bow and so forth. So we add information, stances all the time in different variations of neutral bows. And same thing goes with all the categories of basic finger techniques, stances, maneuvers. It's all there. You just need to look at it and look, and learn how to work with it. So there are 9 forms totally that we do in our group. Other groups do more, and that's fine. But the important thing is not how many things can you do. The important is, why are you doing this, and do you understand what you're doing? And then you can change and add and whatever you do with it. But if you have the depth of understanding of the art, you should. If you're not an ass kicker when you reach brown, you may as well go and do ballet,
which is good too.
You have everything, and you should be set as a brown belt. You should know how to spar. You should know how to move. You should have solid basics, strong forms, strong techniques, and
good, right.
That's the main thing.
Okay, guys, don't forget there's a question mark down there where Mr. Johansson can be seen. So anytime you have a question, just click on that question mark and you can type it in there, and we can show everybody what question you have. So we have Julia Reva in here. She's pretty tired. I know why. She was helping a guy, one of my students, to move to a different city. Hi, Julia. We have Bijois, could be from France. And Kenpo Studio Copenhagen says, I am looking. He's talking about the forms. I think.
He's been looking all his life.
He's looking all the time. Esward Rior, Esward Rior, where are you from? Esward Rior. The next question is, or comes from Denmark. And the question is, what's the difference between learning the art and studying the art?
Well, if you learn the art, that means I'm learning how to move, and I'm basically doing monkey say, monkey do. I am copying other people how to do things. That's quite common when people buy videos. You buy a video, you look at the form or the technique or whatever, and you are doing the same. Well, you think you're doing the same. That's not the same, because in your mind, you're doing what the guy in the video is doing. But in reality, maybe you're breaking a lot of rules. Maybe you don't understand certain things. So you're more copying the system and whatever you're doing. Now, learning means that we'll teach you the rules. We'll teach you the principles. We'll teach you how to apply them. We'll teach you how to break them, and so forth. So everything you do, you should be able to explain it. But you should also be able to do it. And that's very important. So you can't just talk your way through it. You have to do it as well. Most people can do it, but not talk it. The beauty of to learning the art is to understand and comprehend it. That's the key for everything. And that's why you go for seminars, to get a piece of, information that you didn't have, because seminars are not about learning the program, because that's what you're supposed to do with your teacher at your school, But for a seminar, you go to learn something different. And that's important, to get an idea or inspiration or whatever, And that's the whole idea. Every instructor is different. Everybody teaches differently. And you even learn from the worst ones, So you got to go for seminars and train, and look for what's up. Some things you will love, some things you don't like. Hey, that's okay. You pick and choose what you like, but you're still growing. And that's, so I would say that's the big difference between learning and training the art.
Right. We have a good question about learning. Flowing Energy Lydia. She says, when you talk about teacher-student relationships and that you want to be the best teacher you can be, you are a great teacher, she says, is there any big lesson you could learn from your students as well?
Well, see, the thing is that what people don't realize, when you are a student, you get fed information constantly with information and you're learning. That's great. But I, as a teacher, a lot of times I am explaining something to the student, and the student is thinking about the information I'm giving her or him. But at the same time, I'm doing my brain, I'm working on something that I can see a relationship to another move or technique or whatever. So I'm studying and analyzing, and I'm realizing a lot of things as well as a teacher. So I may be teaching you this, but then realize when I'm explaining it, I realize that the opposite or the reverse of that, whatever, can be this and that. So I'm learning by training and teaching you all the time. And a lot of times you realize that, oh my God, I didn't realize it's the opposite of this. You know, happens a lot. And that's great, because that's why we say we learn also from the students. And we do, you know, nobody knows it all. But you want to learn as much as you can, and you want to be as analytical as you can. But still, you got to rock and roll. That's very important. So the teaching is important on many views. You can teach different ways. You can either like have a good one way is that you teach first, then you leave the student and make them work that. Then you come back and you test the student and check him out. If you learned the first part, you give him more information. If you didn't pick it up, well, then you make him work longer for this material. Do you want him to pick him up? You know, and then if you want him to work his brain more, when he knows like a form, we'll ask a question, and that question will trigger a lot of things for the student, and he hopefully will learn more than he expected, because he was looking for A, but he found B, C, and D, but he didn't find A at the first time, and then on the fifth time maybe he found A. So he learned a lot of stuff looking for something. So we have different ways to teach the students. Sometimes you want to grab their hand and guide them. Sometimes you want to show and teach and come back and review. It depends on time and so on. And
right,
I mean,
right.
even I haven't have classes with Mr. Planas that he literally lied to me and say, yeah, this is right, and then he leaves. And then I analyze it, I think about it, go through it, and I say, well, this is not right. So I pick up the phone. Hey, Huck, you're wrong. What are you fooling me for? And he laughs in the phone, because it was a way to check if I do my job, to review and analyze, and what I supposed to do. You know. So there are many ways, and that's the beauty of teaching as well.
All right, thank you. We have Skol. We have Midash88 from Guatemala, as far as I know. She says hola.
Hola, hola.
We have Eklund. Eklund, where you from? Could be from Sweden, huh? Sounds Swedish.
Eklund.
Yeah, La Casa del Trainer. La Casa del Trainer is in here, and Art Chris AR. Hey guys, we have some new names in here. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody who just joining us, post your flag, post your national flag down here so we know where you're coming from. This is very interesting for us to know what country you're tuning in. We have another great...
Ponga su bandera de dónde son. Si son habla hispana. There you go.
The next we have thank you. We have a great question here, which is from Zula. What has changed the most for you since you started doing the art?
Well, a lot of things have changed, and it's still changing. You know, first you just want to learn to move. You know, that's number one. But when you start moving and start understanding more, you realize that you can change things and you can do it a little bit different. Then with the time, you start to play with it and give it a flavor, personal flavor, how you want to do things. See, you look at Mr. Planet students, they all learn from the same source, but everybody moves differently. And they all personalities by themselves. So that makes it interesting because then everybody has different background. I did the boxing, I've done Filipino martial art, you know, and with the Kenpo. So I like that flavor to the way I move. Others maybe have been doing grappling before or other systems, and they incorporate it, maybe Taekwondo, so they kick a lot and they do the Kenpo stuff. It doesn't matter. But so for me, it's opening more doors and realizing a lot of things. Working with Martin Saninovich now, we have a lot of discussions. Last night, we have a long conversation about weapons and weapon rules and things, how we move and how we can solve things and different solutions. Very, very interesting. We talked about Silat, how you use Silat and how they use it versus how we use it and how we can incorporate it in what we do to make it even better. So there is, there's no really pure Kenpo, but there is a pure base, so to speak. We have 154 techniques, 9 forms and 3 sets as a base. Some others have more stuff, but that's what we have. And that's more than enough to learn the system, but by far. And then you start playing and putting a lot of stuff in there, and it's gorgeous.
I could imagine that the question was also relating to your personal, maybe development and what has changed for you in your personal life. Maybe there's something to that too. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zula, but asking about what changed in your life, maybe traveling, maybe making experiences worldwide. You want to talk about that too?
Well, I mean, through the Kenpo, I've been able to travel the world and teach, and that has been great for me. And as I speak Spanish and teach Spanish, I was born in Chile, South America. It's been a great opportunity for me to travel around and teach Kenpo all over the way. That means also that you get to see how Kenpo is different in different parts. And, everybody needs help. Everybody needs to work more basics. So, Mr. Plan has always said, if everybody knew the system, I would be out of a job. That's what he says. And you think about it, he works basically somewhere every weekend all over the world teaching the art. So he has a lot of job. And I do the same, travel the world around my students and help them to progress and do more that we can make us better, so to speak. I don't know if I'm answering the question now.
Yep, I think so, because she says, yes, yo, down there. So that seems like a confirmation, and she's happy now. If you're not happy, Zula, let me know, and we'll reach that goal too. Another question from once again, sir?
If they don't like it, they can call 911.
Try, you can try. Afghanib says hello. A couple of new faces. Emma Picard. Emma, do you train with Ingmar Johansson? You know her? Emma Picard. Emma, where you from? Guys, don't forget, we need to know that you're still awake. So post your national flags down there. And anytime you wanna pop in a question, do that. Always interesting. Use that question mark sign down there, and you can type in another question. Like, for example, another question from Denmark. Kim was asking, they say it is difficult to find a good teacher. And this goes not only for Kenpo, in my opinion. It's difficult to find a good teacher. Is it the same with finding a good student?
Well, there isn't only the option for the student to become a student. The teacher has also the right to choose who he's going to teach. That's important to understand. I'm pretty picky when it comes to students that want to join and work with us because I want them to study. If they don't study and want to progress and learn more, they become stagnant, they become traditional. And there's so much to learn, so that you have to train more, so to speak. But I would say in Sweden, I mean, at my school, I accept basically anybody to come to train. But it depends on what relationship you want to have to that student. If you're going to meet him once a year or twice a year, or you're going to meet him every day or 2 times at the school every week, you know, you don't have the same relationship with the student as a 350 students as I have in my school, but I have a good relationship with certain of them, so to speak, and that's the ones that have been the longest with me. But the relationship with students that live farther away, they need support, they need help, they have questions, doubts, and that's why you need to be there as a teacher to be able to help them and solve these things, because in their teaching, they also need help. I mean, teachers have teachers. Even Muhammad Ali had a teacher, right? So it's important to have a teacher. And a good teacher, well, who defines that? You do.
Yourself, yeah.
Yourself. You decide, I like this teacher, I like the way he teaches, or I don't like him, I don't like his way of teaching. You know, that's personal flavor. You know, it has a lot of things that have to click to have a good relationship. But mainly, we don't have to be best friends, but we should be getting along and understand what we're looking for as teachers and as students too, you know. And if I feel like I can't give this student what he wants, I'll say, hey, buddy, look for somebody else that maybe can help you, because I can't, you know. And so you have to be honest with the students and in all the levels. And I'm more like, I say what I think, and that's my way of, you know, so that's the way it is.
Right. Kim, you can tell us if you're happy with the answer. Probably yes. And you guys, everybody who's joining right now, let us know your opinion about that. If you're on the lookout for a good teacher, what's important for you personally? What is a good teacher? Please drop your comments below so we know what you guys think about that. For example, Kofina, Natalie is still in here. Natalie, Max Bishkoff just joins us. Max, good to see you, sir. Max is in here. Yermis Caraballo, where you from? Yermis says, thumbs up. What is a good teacher for you? William Strelin. And the Kenpo Studio Copenhagen says next. Yeah. We're going to have the next question in a couple of seconds. Luca D. Luca, you guys, you can use that and tell us your opinion about what is a good teacher. We need to know that too. What is a good teacher?
Talking about good teacher also, I mean, knowledge is why we have a teacher, is knowledge. You know, not just because I like him or he's a good friend of mine. You know, why do you pick a teacher? The reason should be that he's knowledgeable and he has material and things that I think I want to learn. And you should pick your instructor thoroughly and think about what you do. But there's nothing wrong to go to any teacher and learn more. I mean, as long as you're straightforward and say to your teacher, said, look, I want to go and see Mr. Johansson and do some private with him. Do you mind? The teacher should never have a problem with that, because you are educating yourself. But if the teacher says, no, you can't go there, then suddenly this teacher becomes an obstacle in your development. And that's a problem. So a teacher should be supportive and should have self-confidence enough to let your students see what's out there. And you're going to lose students. You're going to lose students either way, you know. But you try to help everybody along the way and give everybody what they need. And hopefully they'll stay loyal with you. But as long as you don't stand in their way, you're good, you know. That's the main thing with me.
Right. Thank you. We have Eduardo Moril. Maybe Ingmar Johansson, you can say a couple of sentences, a few sentences in Spanish, because we seem to have a couple of people from South America or Spain in here. So if you want to do that, I think for those people, that would be awesome too.
About what?
About, you know, what you just said, about, you know, what we're talking about. So those guys, maybe they're not so well understanding English. So like, for example, Eduardo and Midash, for those people.
Bueno, en español estábamos hablando de la calidad de un instructor. Yo digo primordialmente es importante de tener un instructor que tenga conocimiento. No deberías elegir un instructor porque ser simpático o buena gente o que sea tu amigo. La razón por qué eliges un instructor es por la calidad del conocimiento que tiene el instructor. Y eso es lo que estábamos conversando, digamos, ¿no? Okay.
Right, gracias. Almost 30 people in here. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in and watching and listening. That's great. So the next question is, how can you become a better teacher in the arts? And this, once again, not only goes for Kenpo, this goes for everything, every art you may study. And this is another question by Kim. How can you become a better teacher in the art? Hello, Javier. Javier Arese. Hello, good to see you.
Well, I think knowledge is the main thing. If you understand body mechanics, power principle, how the system is designed and laid out, then obviously you have the ability to understand what you're doing, but now you should also be able to put words into it. And Kenpo is a very, very well documented system. And we have a lot of words for things, technical words for how to do and perform things. And that's very important because that's the tool to teach your students. Because if you say, just do this, do that, it's not enough, you know, but you need to explain why you do what you do. And when you, as a student, understand why you do what you do, you're going to do it better, you're going to perform it better, you're going to understand timing and mechanics, power principles, and everything that goes along with how Kenpo is designed. And that's another big problem in Kenpo also, that we need to learn how body mechanics works. We need to learn how power principles are used and how to increase the power, because it doesn't matter how much you weigh. It is you, independently, you weight, you should be able to use 100% of your ability. And either you're a man or a woman, whatever your weight is, it doesn't matter. Everybody should be using 100% of their capacity. And that's what we as teacher wants to give you. I'm a small guy, so I try to teach very technical. And but that doesn't mean we don't want you to hit hard. You need to be hitting hard, but using the technique. A big guy can get away with it. He doesn't need to use it as much because he can get away with it. But the better is if you, as a small guy, can instruct students, even if they're big, to become technical, they're going to be ass kickers. They're going to be very, very good. And that's very important. You have to understand that knowledge does not come along today. Is not, you can't look at the belt on a guy and say, oh, look, this guy is a 9th degree. Oh, he has to be awesome. Today, it's not like that. So don't look so much for the rank. Look at the person and look at the understanding and the knowledge that person have. That's very important. So don't stare yourself blind on belt, because the belt won't do anything for you. The belt tells you how long you should be studying the art. But he's 30 years old and he's a 5th or 6th, 7th, 8th degree. There's something not right there. But that's me.
Right. So you guys, everybody who's watching, please let us know what martial art, what system do you train? And if you train Kenpo, for example, what school do you train in? And who's your instructor? Who is your teacher? Please leave a comment for us so we know if you train, what you train, and where you train. Another question by Bill, and this is a specific Kenpo question, a specific lineage question. He's really interested in who will be the heir of the system, or to the system, or in the lineage for the day Mr. Planus will be gone. Who will kind of inherit the throne, so to speak? This is what he wants to know.
Well, I should say, in the system today, we have Mr. Planus being the Grand Master, and we have 2 9th degrees. We have Morris Saninovich, 9th degree in Los Angeles, and up in Chico, you have Chuck Epperson. Those are the 2 9th degrees that are in the lineage under Mr. Planus. So I assume there will be one of them that will be taking over. I would assume, without knowing, obviously. But that would be the protocol that would be normal. Then you have a few 8th degrees, and then we have a few 7th degrees, and so on.
All right. Thank you.
I ran definitely.
It goes by rank. Okay. We have Diaz Kenpo. Diaz Kenpo, where are you from? You seem to be training Kenpo. What school, what lineage? Please let us know. As well as Team Tiger Sika Kenpo. I never heard that. Very interesting. Where you guys train? What do you guys train? Please leave a comment. What country do you come from and what country you're listening from? Diaz Kenpo, Team Tiger Sika Kenpo. Conrad Luis, where are you from? Conrad Luis, Khalil 62. And the Team Tiger Risca Kenpo says, saludos desde Bucaramanga, Colombia. You want to say something in Spanish?
Gracias. Bueno, espero que todos estén bien. Gracias por acompañarnos aquí, aunque sea en inglés. Pero vamos a hacer cosas en español también, así que manténganse informados y vamos a ver si podemos hacer cosas para preguntas también en español, que lo vamos a realizar con Lineage Niño en Venezuela. En la radio. Yep.
All right, perfect. So Diaz Kenpo, Team Tiger, Risca Kenpo, Conrad Luis, all you guys, let us know where you're from, what do you train, who's your teacher. Kenpo Stockholm says, Kenpo, training with Ingmar, but it has been a while since the last time, too long.
Indeed. Frederick, get your ass down here.
We have Abu Hawak Said, my friend from Berlin, who wants to train with me in the near future. Said, good to see you here too. And don't forget, drop a question, leave a question, like, for example, this one from Dylan. And he seems to be referring to your active time boxing, for example, because he's asking, do or did you have a training and eating plan, like for competition?
I would say really not, because I was, 14, 15 years, and I wasn't up in the heavyweights. I was a light, super light, weight. So I didn't really need it at that time. And as I grow older, I started doing Kenpo instead. So I didn't do that. Never had a problem eating anything, and I didn't have to restrain myself in any way.
Right. So just train enough, work out enough. And Dylan, I know you had that question before. Don't forget, we're already in contact. DM me again. Dylan already sent me a video. He's a beginner, and he's interested in boxing and training with us as well. So Dylan, everything about that, send me a private message, and we'll get into that. We have Anna Edman. Don't know if she's training with you. And Team Tiger from Colombia says, I don't know, Ingmar, can you read it?
Let me see here. What characteristics is that the one?
No, that's not above. You got to scroll up a little bit.
Oh, scroll up. This is very small here. This is a question in Spanish. No, I don't know what the question is.
It says, Master Ingmar, te conocí en San Cristóbal, Táchira, Venezuela. Soy de la Asociación Tachirense de Kenpo de Frank Machado.
Yeah, I was looking for an English message. Sí, gracias y bienvenido a la conversación aquí. Y Venezuela lo tengo muy querido y espero poder ir este año a Venezuela cuando se calme la cosa de la pandemia.
All right, thank you. Michael Lemire just joined us, Kenpo Family Karate. Hey, Dave. Hey, Jackie, what are you guys up to? Hope you're well over there, Kenpo Family Karate. Guido Fuensalida. Sweden?
Yeah.
All right. Then we have another question. It says, I don't know if you can read it. I'll read it to you. What characteristics should I, as a student, look for, and which characteristics would you like to have a teacher teaching at your school? AKA Tony B is asking that.
I think it's important that you are a positive person that gives the students energy. Encouragement is very important. I mean, you can be picky, you can demand, but you also have to give them the tap on the back and be honest. I never say good if I don't really mean it. I don't tap you on the back if I don't mean it. I don't tell you you're ready to test if I don't mean it. So everything I do on the mat is I mean it, and I try to be honest, but encouraging and positive is important. But if you're only encouraging all the time, you become immune to it. You need a slap in the back sometimes you need encouragement. And that's a feeling the instructor should have depending on how you mood and how you development are. Sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you need somebody to say, hey, shape up and get in line and start working out, God damn it. And that's maybe what you need, but maybe that's not what you want. But a good teacher should be able to give you both. I think it's very important. But encouraging and good, it's important.
All right. Jose Dioselio says hi. Where are you from, Jose? You're training the art? What country? Ed Parker's Kenpo Max Dojo is watching. Hello, guys. How are you? Hope you're well. So if nobody has a question at this point here in the live chat, I can grab my sheet because there's plenty of questions on there still. Like, for example, another question is, Mr. Johansson, who do you want to take lessons with except Mr. Planis?
I'm teaching currently, excuse me, I am learning currently with Moritz Aninovich, 9th degree black belt in Kenpo, and qualified instructor in JKD and Silat and Filipino martial art at the Danny Santo Academy. Marty is an extremely good martial artist with a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills. And that's why I'm taking my classes, except Mr. Planet. But whenever I can, I do join anybody's class. Max Puchkov comes to Sweden, and I take his class when I can. Paul Irish, he does totally different arts than we do. But hey, I joined there. I've done Kaju Kenpo seminars. I've done everything. I go to anything that I can get my hands on, and I always learn something, and that is the main thing. So you look, you analyze, you think about it. Some things you may not like, discourage it. Then, you learn by taking things you want to learn. And by asking questions, there is no stupid question. There is only stupid answers. So you are entitled to ask questions all the time. And that's very important. If the instructor cannot tell you the answer of your question, then it's his obligation to find the answer for you. I feel that, and I always do. And if you ever ask me a question that I feel I can't answer, I will get the answer, and I will call you up and personally give you the answer and thank you for sharing that question that made me grow. And that's important because nobody knows it all. Very important. So, yeah, I train with as much people I can, and training with my own students. I always grow. I always learn too, because everybody moves differently, and that's important to understand. But you got to train. You got to get up on the mat and work out with your students. I do that all the time. I always train with my students. So, important.
Said says 100%. This is what each teacher needs to be like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Said. And here we have Mr. Larry Kongaika from California. He says, is this Ingmar?
C'est moi, monsieur, c'est moi. Yes, sir.
He says, hello, Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining, Mr. Kongaika. Good to see you in here, too. Who else we got in here? We have Aida or Midash, 88 from Guatemala. She's asking, what has been your challenges as a teacher? A question from Guatemala.
My challenges. Well, the challenge is always, in my world, is when you have a student to come across to make the student understand the point you're trying to make and teach him so he can pick up the stuff as fast as possible, because you want the student to find answer. But sometimes you can't give the answer, because that's not it is the journey, as you say. It's moving from A to B, and you need to do that trip. And when you do that, you learn a lot how to think, because by giving you the answer, you don't learn how to think. And so I'm not really helping you as a teacher. But if I give you a question, I expect you to look for the answer, find it, and when you do, you have learned much more than just answering that question. So producing a good student and quality students is important. The time doesn't really, it's not that important. I'm never looking at, hey, I got to produce a black belt in the fastest possible. The fastest time I ever produced a black belt is 7 years. That's the fastest I'd be able to do it. Most people do 9, 10, 11 years to become a black belt with me. But I teach them to become knowledgeable instructors tomorrow, so they can open up their own schools, or they can perfect and teach in their communities and become good, solid instructors. And if I can, I will also teach them so they can earn Mr. Planet's patch. And I've done that, and I will continue to do that. But that's taking it to another level, which is harder to accomplish. But I'm been fortunate enough to be able to teach students to come up to that level that they can earn the patch from Mr. Planet. And I'm very proud of that as well, and very happy, because it tells me that I'm capable and I have the knowledge enough to satisfy Mr. Planet with the standards that he has.
Great. We have Dylan. I was asking who's still in here. We have Dylan, we have Tony, we have Bill. Natalie is still in here. Caro from Munich. Angela Polina, I don't know who you are. Please tell me where you're from, what country, what city do you train? We have Martin in here. Zula, it's raining over there where Zula is. That's good. Midas from Guatemala. Kenpo Studio Copenhagen. We have Oleg, who's still in here, from Russia. That's beautiful. Zara just joined us. Marcelo Eduardo Persson. Marcelo Eduardo Persson. Where are you from, Marcelo? Brazil, Spain, South America, E. Grefe. We have E. Grefe, a couple of new faces who are just joining. P. Balos and Zofia is also still in here. You guys, still, thank you for watching. Does anybody have a question that hasn't been answered up to this point? Do you want to know anything that we haven't talked about or discussed? Just use the question mark button. We still have a couple of minutes left. So anytime, drop and leave your question. Like, for example, this one. It's another question from Denmark this time. And the question is, can you tell me more about the benefits and the disadvantages of having more than one Kenpo, or in general, instructor? Benefits, pros and cons of having more than one instructor.
Benefits is naturally that you get different inputs. And it also depends on what level you are at. If you are a student and learning the basics material, I think it's better to have one teacher as your main teacher, because then you're getting the stuff in order and you don't have so much contradictions and variations. But as you grow in the art and you become more proficient with what you do and you get more knowledge, I think it's very important to have more sources. But you have an instructor, so that's not a problem. But you can go to different sources, because everybody is different and everybody teaches a little bit different. And you can have maybe an instructor that's a very small guy like me, and I would move in a certain way, but then maybe you move over and you see Max Bushkov, that's a big guy, and he might have a different way to do that. So you can learn from different instructors, and that's an asset, and that's very good, because then you understand this art better, because the tools are the same independently where we are in our development, so to speak, and the sources you have been using. But it's important that you get a good foundation and a good understanding of the art. And with that, that's the key of everything. So the more you have in your backpack, you would definitely gain much more by training with people that are different from what you're used to train with.
Okay, Kim. Thank you, Kim. Let us know if you're happy with the answer. And we have two more questions. And at this point, I would like to pick two names from everybody who's watching, and I would like to ask you specifically to ask another question. And one name that I'm picking randomly in here is some kind of Sophie. I want you to ask another question, whatever it may be, and I'm asking Meet Dush 88 to ask another question. And as I say that, we have Dylan asking, do you think martial arts in general are one of the most respectful sports? Because if I look up an MMA fight or boxing or karate, they are in the most cases. And then Dylan, I can't keep on reading the question. Probably it's too long. So the beginning of the question is, do you think martial arts in general are one of the most respectful sports?
Respectful, not really. I don't think so, no.
Okay, Dylan, if you want to specify that question.
It develops that with time, and the art develops respect and self-restraint and all these things as a quality for like children, for instance. That's a great tool to teach them discipline and order. And in our way of doing things, you have a lot of discipline and order to do things, and that's a good tool as a school and to teach the student. But if you talk about adults, well, I guess most of them are formed and so people are people.
Yeah, but Dylan, I think respect should definitely be a part of training. And like, for example, when we bow in the art that we study and we train, it's a gesture of respect to our training partner. So maybe this is what you were asking, or what you were wondering. We want to show that respect every time we're on the mat. When it comes to our instructor, our teacher, our training partner. So this is something that is important for us in our lineage and the way we train. So maybe this was what you were thinking about.
With your training partners, always have to be of full respect, and with the teacher as well and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to understand really where he wanted to go. And I don't know.
Yep. Ricardo Escalona. Ricardo, where you from? I don't know where you're from, but please let us know. You can drop your national flag so we can guess what kind of flag this is and see where you come from. We have a question from Claudio from Chile, and he's asking or saying, you are the creator of the Road Warrior lineage. What does it mean to be a road warrior?
Well, that's a good question, Claudio. First of all, yes. First of all, in the United States, when a person is a salesman and travel around, they call them road warriors because they are on the road constantly. And Mr. Planas was considered a road warrior because he was traveling around in the United States, teaching different schools and different persons all over the United States. And that's why he have a video series made by what he called Road Warrior Production, for instance. But basically, so because he was traveling around everywhere and so on, and I was doing and the same, because Kenpo is my work and that's what I live on, I started to do what Mr. Planas did, travel around and teach. So that's why I wanted to have a name for a group that would be historically connected to Mr. Planas, but also represented to what we do. So Road Warrior lineage is about instructors that travel around the world teaching the art. And that's the name I picked. And this group was made with Mr. Planet's Blessing in 2010, where I talked to him and told him what I wanted to do. We are all part of the Parker Planet's lineage under Mr. Planet's, but in the group, I have my personal group, which is, you know, in many, many countries in the world. I think we are like 13, 14 countries in the Road Warrior lineage. But it doesn't really matter. The number is not so important. It is the people in the group that is important. So Road Warrior lineage is a group that works for quality. If you want to learn more about it, you can write roadwarriorlineage.com, and you will get to my webpage where you can read more about the lineage, the ideas, and how we train and work, and also about the instructors that are involved with the group at this point.
Another question, there's more and more questions coming in. That's crazy. We have a question from Guatemala again, but Midash88, I was asking you to ask a question. Would you recommend to learn another art at the same time?
Well, we have systems that are compatible. We have systems that are not compatible, meaning that if you do a circular system, for instance, or like Filipino martial art, the Filipino martial art and the Kenpo goes very, very hand in hand. They mix and blend very well. So you can use your knowledge from both arts and integrate them in both ways. And so that's good. Then you have other systems that wouldn't match as well with Kenpo, and then they will be working against what you're learning in one art comparing to a different art. So I think if you are going to train as a beginning level, trying to pick arts that are compatible. I mean, if you do boxing, you will do great with Kenpo too, because you use the same motion. It's basically boxing, you know, Kenpo comes from the boxing experience and the way you move. So yeah, it would be great. So think about what art you're interested in and what you want to incorporate. But as an advanced student, I think it is definitely important to try to incorporate more art, because you will grow and have more solutions to a problem, and that's very important.
All right, you guys use the question mark button down there, and you can type in your question for us, so that's much more convenient for us. Some kind of Sophie, her question is, how many hours a week do you practice? Do you think it is important to do other sports as well? Well, you just answered that question, like workout to become better in the art.
Well, what was the first part of the question?
First part was, how many hours a week do you practice?
I practice daily, but I don't practice like I used to when I was younger. I'm 53 years old today, and I practice daily, I should say. I will always go through my forms and techniques, and I would say I spend 2-3 hours maybe training, but I teach more, so to speak. So, but that's not training in my way of looking at it. But I try to train, and I work out every day. I do, because I love what I do. That's my job. And if I'm going to be able to demand from my students certain standard of quality, the least I should be able to perform the same. And that's my way of thinking. So for me, it's very important to be active on the mat, training, showing. And if we spar, they hit and kick and punch me. We would do techniques. They hit and kick and punch me. And as I do, they do to me. So that's my philosophy.
Zelenin Alexei, how are you? Tunkay Kok, Turkey, maybe Ben K, 128, and Pride of Bloodline. Those guys are watching as well. Don't forget, let us know where you guys come from, and drop your national flag down there like Ed Parker's Kenpo Max Dojo just did, so we know where you're from, what country, and ask any question you like. For example, it just happened with, where is it? Kenpo Max Dojo was asking a question. Mr. Kongaika from California. Kenpo is a science of motion. The principles learned can be applied in any sport, any martial arts? I don't see a question mark in here. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but it could be the question like Kenpo is the science of motion. The principles learned, can they be applied in any sport, any martial art?
Yeah, because it's based on body mechanics, proper body mechanics. I mean, how do you throw a ball? You can throw it like this, or you can use the whole body and use the mechanics to throw the ball. So, if you do golf, you can hit a little or you swing it with the whole body. So, yes, body mechanics is very, very important in what we do. So, I think those principles need to be used and understood, and the power principle that goes along with it. That's everything we do based on this. So it's important to understand it and teach it as well, So in any sports, you look at any sport today, they analyze every move, how to perform skating, hitting a football, hitting a tennis, whatever. Everything is looked through computers and how you use the body in the best way. So yes, absolutely. Proper body mechanics is everything. And we teach those principles.
Right. Right. Aloha Cutie Pie from France just joins us. And Mr. Kongaika says, yes, sir, fully agreed. Great answer.
And that's the way, and answering another way, thinking at the way. See, if you look at the videos of people, how they move, you should look what they do from the waist and down. If they are moving the hips and lifting the heels and using rotation with a strike and everything along with a hand motion, you synchronize the upper and the lower body. If they're doing that, that's great. But if you see somebody standing still with the lower body and only using hand motion, there's something missing there, because the power comes from the hip most of the time when we do things and using the rotation of the body going along with the striking. So, that's just an idea how you can look and see how people move differently.
Another question, how do you keep your higher ranking students motivated?
Well, once again, you have to motivate them by giving them more tasks, more information, but also by teaching them stuff that maybe are not Kenpo, maybe it's Filipino stuff, stimulate them intellectually with things, studies of the art and stuff like that. You more you study, you more you realize that you don't know really much, and it's very important. If you are comfortable, you sit back, you became a traditionalist. And so if you're not developing, you're not going forward with your knowledge and understanding. There's nobody who knows it all, as I said before. But it's important to keep on searching and looking how things can be done in different ways. But the base, the system is designed, is always the same. It is designed very, very well, and it is already, so to speak, updated. But if you can change everything, and that's what the personal flavor is all about. But the base is there. You just need to learn it well, and that's the main thing. And that's the biggest problem today also. They rush through the ranks, and that's not good.
All right. Sir, before you will have to make a decision in a couple of minutes what questions you would like to answer, I would like to ask everybody in here, everybody who is still in here, please let us know that you're still in here by whatever, putting your thumbs up, or once again, drop your national flag so we can see who is still listening and who is still here with us. And after that, you can pick any question you like, Mr. Johansson, and answer it. So everybody in here, Said is making his thumbs up. Everybody in here can drop another question. Guatemala is still in here. Denmark is still in here. Tony B is still in here. Charlie is just joining. You guys, everybody who's still watching, we want to ask you a question too. What would you like to see? Before you pick a question, please leave a comment and tell us what you would like to see in the next weeks, because this is a brand new format and we basically just experiment with Instagram Live. So if you like it, please let us know. And if you have any idea about what we could also do in the next weeks or what topics we should talk about, please leave a comment here so we know what we could offer in the next weeks during the pandemic when we can't train on the mat as we used to. So let's see who is still in here. Lydia is still in here. Mr. Kongaika, Zofia, P. Bayless, Mr. P is still in here. Martin, Dylan says, I'm still here and won't leave. Thank you, Dylan. That's great. That's great. And you got a couple of good questions for us. Natalie is still watching, the chummy from Munich. And Tony B says, take off in 35 minutes. Hurry up answering. Oh, you got, okay, you're taking off in 35 minutes. Where are you going to, my friend? Where are you going to? Let us know. So, yeah, we're going to have maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds of a break. And you guys, please leave a comment and let us know if you want to know something else, anything else, or what topics you are interested in, and have us discuss the next weeks, the next months in this format. Tony goes to Berlin. He's taking off to Berlin.
Right. Good.
Natalie says, I like this type of format. It's kind of like a podcast. Yep, that's the idea. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. Tony, if you're taking off to Berlin, probably you're already in the cockpit, as I assume. So there's not much time left. You gotta leave your phone and go into flight mode, I assume. So you guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up in about 10 minutes. So you can ask your questions now, and Mr. Johansson will pick one question that he will answer out of your list. So use this chance, use the opportunity, ask a question. And Dylan says you should load that up on Spotify. Well, that's a good idea. Maybe we're going to do that. If you guys like it, we can upload it on Spotify.
You can't sing.
Well, yeah, if you want to hear Mr. Johansson or myself sing, we can do that too. Well, there's podcasts on Spotify, but if you want to hear us sing, and if you pay us enough money, maybe we're going to do that. You never know.
Yeah, or video clips on the Viking Camp where we do sing.
Yep, you can see the Buffalo Soldier in there.
That's one of them. But come and join.
Yeah, you got to go there. Okay, we have one question. What are the next events for Road Warrior Lineage? What are the next events, the upcoming events in the near future?
Well, when it comes to Europe, I mean, first of all, on Mr. Planet's, Parker Planet's Lineage.com, you can see Mr. Planet's activities all over the world when he's traveling. But also on my webpage, which is kenpo.se, you can find the calendar for myself, and under my calendar is Mr. Planet's calendar for his trips to Europe. So there you can see for the next 2 years where he will be holding classes and seminars. So, and also naturally my calendar will be starting to get going as soon as we get out of this pandemic thing. I know I'm going down to Chris to do some teaching at his school with his new beautiful blue mat, and we have a trip maybe next month going down to Chile with Claudio Soto and Andres Bugueño. We do a camp down there every year in February. There is the Viking Camp in probably June, which I recommend highly to check out. You can read more about it as well on our webpage, kenpo.se. So there will be a lot of activities as time goes. I'll probably be in France and in Germany and different places, even here in Europe, maybe Denmark, or my students comes up and learn here at my studio with me. But we are always available and always happy to help out in any way we can.
Okay. Right. So before we're going to wrap it up, and you guys don't forget, after Mr. Johansson will be out of the chat, we're going to do the after party. The after party will be myself only and 1 or 2 or 3 of you guys. This is the after party. I can see we have 1 or 2 more questions. Okay, this is a good one because Carol from Munich, she's asking, do you have any tips on how to learn the art for someone who does not have his teacher nearby?
That's a tough one, but as I said, there is a video series. You can find it on my webpage under media. That's Mr. Parker's videos on basics, sophisticated basics. I think that's a good way to see a little bit what is in there. Try to get a program of the basics and the technique sheets. And try maybe to have chats or video conference with your instructor. It is hard to train the way you want to do it, but I say you need to see your teacher regular, but in between you can get work and classes on over the net. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. You got to do something, and asking questions, and but I think it's important to have a good foundation so you have something to build up on, and that's what you need to put your time and focus on in the beginning, at least.
Right. And the last question for tonight before we're going to wrap it up. There's a quote, and it says it's a quote by Mr. Parker, Ed Parker, the founder of the system. And he said, I'd rather have 10 techniques that I can fight with better than 100 that fight me. I'd rather have 10 techniques that I can fight with than 100 techniques that fight me. Which ones would you pick? A question from Kim, Denmark, again, because he's knocking on my door all the time. Read the list. I got so many questions. And this is the last question for tonight.
Well, I mean, there are techniques, there are family groupings, and and techniques that are important, and it's very big part of our pattern as we work in Kenpo. But I mean, thundering hammers is a great technique, 5 swords, leaping crane, but then you have tons of variations out of the same. So with other words, I gave you 3, but at the same time I gave you 33, if you know what I mean. But it also is a flavor what kind of techniques you like to do. I mean, delayed sword, it's a great technique. I like it a lot. Thrusting salute, awesome technique. So and so forth. So it's understanding that really in the real world you are not gonna be doing one of these techniques straight out of the book. You will do a lot of the variations and ideas from this. And your ability to change from one thing to another is what's going to determine if you're going to be successful in what you do. So I think it's important to understand how the system is laid out. And by understanding that, you realize that there's not that many techniques you would use, so to speak.
All right, you guys. So we're going to wrap it up at this point. I want to thank everyone who was joining us, who is still joining us from many different countries around the world. Thank you for real good questions and for all of the input you gave us. It was really a pleasure. Don't forget, we're going to have a little after party. So after Mr. Johansson will be leaving the chat, 1, 2, maybe 3 of you guys can jump in and let me know how you liked it. And before we do that, sir, Mr. Johansson, thank you very much for your time. We don't take that for granted, for the knowledge and for answering all the questions that came in. And yeah, once again, thank you and stay safe. I mean, we're in contact anyway, almost on a daily basis. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time and commitment.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who took the time to come and join us. I really like this. It's a good way now that we have the pandemic and things like that. But if you have questions, doubts, check out my webpage, kenpo.se, and you can change the language up in the corner, and then you have it in your own language. So it's Google translated, obviously. But, feel free to contact anytime you want. And thank you very much for joining and participating. Muchas gracias a todos por participar y gracias por las buenas preguntas. Espero que les haya gustado y que nos vemos pronto nuevamente. Si tienen alguna pregunta, consulta, mándame un mail, un mensaje y muchas gracias por todo. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Ciao.
All right, you guys. So it's a wrap. We're finished. This was a great one. Once again, I want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening and watching and asking questions. So now, as always, always seems like we've been doing this thing for a long time. It's the second time. But I want to know and I want to see who is still in here. And I want to talk to one, maybe two of you and ask you if you liked it, what you liked. So let me see. Let me know by putting up your flag or your thumb if you're still in here, and if anybody wants to talk to me and let me know what you liked about this format. And don't forget, please let me know any idea. Tell me how we could do this format in the future, and if there is anything you would want to see, any topic, whatever. Gracias, Claudio. Un abrazo y gran entrevista a Ingmar. Gracias, señor. Mr. Kongaika, this is such a great initiative, Chris. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We're going to keep doing it. We got to do something during these hard times. So if anybody wants to talk to me right now or give me any comment or idea, send me a request or I'm going to send you one. We still have a couple of minutes, and there's one name I got to click on. And let's see if she answers. Tony says, I really love this format. Shows that great things can be done with social media. I really love hearing that. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate, and that's the truth. Great job, brother. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. I will. I'll do what I can to spread the art and inform people about what we do. This is what it's all about. So what about you, my friend? Kenpo Studio CPH. We've been talking for 90 minutes. Who still has some breath and the balls to jump in here? I can see the screen. Maybe there's something problematic with the connection. I can't see you, Kim. I can't see you. I can't see you at this point. I'm sorry. I got a couple of requests. Maybe it's the connection. Check your connection, guys. I got you. Flowing energy. Lydia. What are you up to? You liked it?
Yes, it was fantastic. Yeah. What I really like is that Ingmar and Max last week, because I took, is not answering with a yes or no. They always see the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Really like,
Get a little closer to the phone because I can't hear you that clearly.
yeah.
I think now it's better, right?
Perfect. Now it's perfect. I don't know what happened, but now it's perfect.
I was connected with my music box. Then
Once again, the same problem. Okay, before you keep on going, some kind of Sophie, I don't know if you're still listening. She says, I don't have the balls. Ask you next week. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Yeah. Good night. Okay, good night. It was good to see Ingmar. Haven't seen him in like 20 plus years. Always great to see a brother in Kenpo still keeping the flame burning. Exactly. Nothing I can add to it. Claudia from Chile. See you soon, bro. A big hug. Big hug. Big hugs to you. Tony's got to hit the road. Okay. So Lydia, sorry, I was interrupting you. Please let me know. What did you want to say?
yeah, I just wanted to say that I really like that Ingmar always see the whole thing when he give answers, and Max did it too last week. So they are not just saying this is no or this is a yes to this question, and they are not putting in their own ego. They are always thinking about, okay, how can the student get better and what would be the best for this situation, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that was what I really liked about the question. I don't know what the question was, but Ingmar said that you always have to support the students. So if a student wants to learn from another teacher, the teacher has to be strong enough and has to be enough self-confidence to say, yes, of course, please go to another teacher if you feel like you have to, so that the student becomes a better student. Yeah. So to not put himself in the first place.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's about you. It's about the students, because without the students, what are we? So yeah, I think that's the philosophy we should have. That's true. So now my last question, or first question maybe for tonight, I want to ask you guys who are still in here the question. I'm thinking about having a pizza tonight, I'm thinking about eating a pizza. So I need to know, before we're going to close this thing, what kind of pizza should I eat? To get into a whole different topic and theme tonight, what kind of pizza would you recommend me? Because I want to order a pizza. And yeah, Lydia, what would you say? Any recommendation?
So, what comes up into my mind spontaneously is pineapple. Do you like it on your pizza?
I don't like it. I don't like it too much.
Okay.
And you see that Kenpo Studio CPH says
Hawaii. Yay!
No. Okay, Kim from Denmark. Next time you can eat a pineapple pizza with Lydia, but I'm not into that. So no, sorry, you are dismissed. But any other recommendations?
Oh hell no! I think Aloha Cutie Pie don't like that too.
Aloha Cutie Pie, you don't know. I don't know who she is, but she, doesn't seem to have a good taste when it comes to pizza. So Aloha Cutie Pie, aloha, bye bye. Not a good recommendation. W. Eric, something with barbecue and bacon. That could be a little better. That could be a little better. So Lydia, you gotta give me another one. No pineapple.
Okay, so then I continue. When you have barbecue and bacon, then you need something spicy on it.
Okay, Natalie says barbecue and bacon sounds real good. Okay, I'll think about it, Lydia. And does anybody else have the balls to talk to me right now and give me another recommendation? So if this is the case, give me a thumbs up or send me a request. I got a couple of minutes left, and I want to, prosciutto crudo. I want to know what kind of pizza I'm gonna eat tonight. Sophia Loren, mwah, mwah, this is my thing. Sophia Loren, I like that. Lydia, I'm gonna, say goodbye to you, because I want to know if anybody else, has the balls to talk to me in here. Tonno, pizza tonno, I don't know. I don't like tonno too much on a pizza. But Lydia, thank you for your recommendation, and let's see if and for everything you said. And let's see if anybody else in here wants to give me a recommendation. Bye-bye, Hannah.
Bye.
Okay, still, I haven't figured it out. What kind of pizza am I going to eat tonight? Everybody who's not interested in this can just leave us. Thank you for tuning in. But those people who want to give me a recommendation, besides everything that already has been said, let me know and talk to me. Is anybody in here who wants to talk to me about that? About pizza? Or the live stream? Can be both. Okay. Now I gotta talk to you, my friend, now, because this, I can't accept that. Get a salad. Now I gotta talk to you. Bye, Martin. See you next week. See you Tuesday. Beautiful.
Max was calling me. That's why I didn't pick up your request.
No problem. That's priority.
Precisely. Rank by privilege.
That's true. No, not a problem.
Maybe you should just get a pepperoni pizza.
Like with pepperoni sausage, or
just tomato, cheese, pepperoni. That's it. Or you can get a margarita. That's pretty plain and basic for you.
Yep. It fits me, very, very plain and basic. You see, Natalie said, I was about to leave, but then I saw Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hello, Natalie. I mean, I think Tony, he would probably just suggest you should get a salad and not a pizza. But
yeah, but if I do that, I never enjoy life, so, and I want to enjoy life a little bit. So yeah. I think margarita, just cheese. I think this is good. Martin says, I just have to stay now. Hey, man.
Advertising.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason, or it's you. So you're happy with tonight?
Yeah, I think it went very well. It's always a pleasure having Ingmar on, and he tells us like it is. So that's awesome. He don't hold back, and that's what I like. Hey, Marty. Yeah. Or Martin.
Any particular answer he was giving you were surprised of, or you said, hey man, this is really new to me, or something like that?
I wouldn't say there's anything new to me, but I like the part where he said that if he cannot answer the question, he will find out the answer, and he will call you up personally and say, this is the answer. I think it's very important that you are honest as a teacher, and like you said, you can't know everything. So sometimes, questions trigger questions within yourself. So, okay, that part I liked. I like it the way he just, said it. If I don't know the answer, I will find out.
Yeah, so the truth aspect, honesty, this is what you appreciate.
Yeah, instead of just giving you a BS answer, and you might think, oh, that's the answer, and you say, okay, I don't know this question, or I can't remember it, let me find out. Right. I mean, I think we all has had that experience.
Oh yeah.
At the current moment, you can't remember. Okay, maybe I know this answer, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, which is natural, human.
Yeah, precise.
All right, my friend. Maybe we can coordinate a video during the week, you and me, because we were planning on doing that, and we can do that during the week. I'm not too busy next week, so if you want to do that, we can do it.
Yeah, let's try. Stay safe and take care.
All right, and, you too.
Give my love to everybody online.
Likewise, my friend. Likewise, bro. Talk to you soon. Thank you. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks to everybody who's still watching, almost 2 hours. Don't forget to send me a DM with ideas, themes, topics you want us to discuss. And everybody who I'm seeing during the week, looking forward to seeing you. Bye-bye, everybody. Ciao, ciao.